everybody, my name is Melissa and welcome to my channel. I am so happy to have you here because today we're going to be talking about the 25 physical books that I have on my TBR that I want to read this year. Last year I actually created a bingo card here for myself and wanted to see how many of those books that I could basically knock out, and I didn't do so well. I kind of failed at that. But this year I have much higher hopes, and I even, started my new reading journal here. I created my list of the books that I want to read. It's a little less colorful than last year's. What matters is getting those books read and my physical TBR down. So let's go ahead and talk about those books. I kind of came up with a nice order of how I'm going to section out these. So let's start off with manga slash webtoons. The first one is going to be called Rent a Girlfriend. This one is still in the plastic wrap. It's about a guy who I guess gets broken up with his girlfriend and ends up needing to hire a girlfriend for a short amount of time. That's really all I know about this. I'm gonna move on because we have a lot of books to talk about. Next we have the fourth book in the True Beauty webtoon saga here. I have the rest of them in hardback. This is sadly what came out in paperback, but that's okay because what matters is on the inside. And I love this K-drama and I've been loving reading the webtoon as well. It's so great. It follows the K-drama very well. If you're interested in giving the source material a try, I highly recommend. Moving to adult fiction, I'm going to start with The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I am not a fan of this cover. I really do not like it, but that's beside the point. This is a very well-loved and very popular book, and I'm pretty sure for good reason. This is a dark academia book. I believe that there is a murder in this close group of friends and kind of what goes on in this like high society group of kids, and I believe our main character is maybe, I don't know, I don't want to like even guess what really this is about because I want to go in blind and really see what my reactions are. I do know that the audiobook is narrated by the author, so I figured that would be really interesting to give a listen to. So I don't know if I'm going to read this physically or audiobook it. Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I've heard amazing things. I really enjoy this author's work. I have read The Poppy War Book 1 and I have started on Babel. This is a more contemporary style book. Our main character, she ends up stumbling across this author's work. She is an aspiring author, ends up taking that piece of work and publishing it as her own, and all the things that probably could go wrong probably go wrong, and I am excited to give this one a try. It's not very long at all, and I really think that this one would probably be a good one to annotate as well. I'm gonna go ahead and move into the dark romance section of this video. The first book I have is Losers by Harley LaRoe. I read The Dare last year, which is the novella before this one, and this is a reverse harem bully style romance, or there's more polyamorous. I believe that male things happen in this one, but this has like the degradation thing. I believe this one is pretty dark, especially after reading The Dare, which was almost spicy for how short it was, and I enjoyed it, so I do want to continue on and pick up Losers Part 1. Obsession by Harley Beck. This is a dark romance. I believe it is about an inmate and maybe his psychologist he becomes obsessed with. I believe it is a stalker romance as well, so they meet in prison. That's really all I know, and this cover is wild. Caution to the Wind by Gianna Darling. I wanted to read this book last year, never got around to it, so I rolled it back onto this one. These are some of the best age gap romances. Gianna Darling is just top tier in the motorcycle age gap romance category because they are just so amazing. This one is pretty lengthy, but that's okay because every time I read one of these books, it's just so good, and I always feel all of the emotions. I can't remember which couple this one is about, but I'm here for it. And yeah, like, look at this cover. I hear my dog coming up the stairs. Mochi Bear! Hello, baby boy. Hello. All right, so my dog kind of ran into my tripod here, so apologies if things have moved around. I don't know if they have or not, but we have God of Ruin by Rena Kent. This is not the second book. I want to say maybe the fourth book in the Legacy of God series. I read the first book, God of Malice. Yes, God of Malice last year, enjoyed it, loved a good dark romance. I can't remember if it's a psychopath and a psychopath that end up getting together, but this one definitely intrigued me more. I believe you can read these as standalones because that is what I'm going to be doing. And yeah, just excited for a good college age dark romance, secret society, mobs and gangsters kind of thing in England. Let's go. Hello. Hello. Okay, thank you. For the Fans by Nyla K. This is a male-male romance. I believe it's stepbrothers, and they end up coming together to create an OF account for money. And obviously, I'm sure that they fall for each other. I don't know if it's a bully romance as well. This one I have seen around a lot. It's been recommended to me like in several different places, so I'm definitely excited to give this one a try. Moving into the drama romance, we have Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. This book I'm sure is going to just give me all the drama and the goodness. I read Magnolia Parks last year, really ended up enjoying that. This follows another couple, Daisy Hates and I believe Julian, and she is basically a mob princess, and I believe he has some sort of crime thing happening, so we'll see how this goes. Heartless by Elsie Silver is the beloved Chestnut Spring series book 2. I started this one actually, just need to continue on. This follows a single dad named Cade, and I forgot the name of the woman, Willa Grant, who is the best friend of the main character of the first book in Reckless, which I really loved. So yeah, single dad romance. I really liked the dynamic of them so far. We have Grumpy Sunshine, which I'm always here for. So yeah, I'm excited to continue on with this series because I want to continue on with and reading more of Elsie Silver's books because I keep hearing such good things, and she just keeps putting out all the books, and I'm nowhere near caught up since I haven't even finished my second book. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore. I wanted to pick this up in the fall, but it was sold out everywhere and I could not find it. I don't know. I hear such mixed things about this, maybe because there was such hype surrounding it. Some more people read it, more people loved it, hated it, all of that. Cozy romance with spice is all I really know. And yeah, just gonna go into this one blind and figure out if I like it or not. Let's go into the YA books next. We have The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. If you can hear my dog running around, I apologize. This is a young adult mystery kind of thriller novel. It is by the same author that did The Inheritance Games. I read that one a couple years ago and enjoyed it, so I do want to continue on. I believe this was her first series that she wrote, so very excited. What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez is a book that I had to have on my shelves just because of how freaking gorgeous it is. Obviously I haven't read it because it's on this list, but like it is beautiful. The pages here, oh gosh, look at that, look at this, oh my gosh, so beautiful. This one I believe is very like The Mummy-esque, that movie. If you've ever read it, you know. One of my top favorites. But I have heard that this is very much like that. Something about parents passing away, she needs to go to Egypt, there's a love interest, adventure, why not? Reckless by Lauren Roberts. This is the second book in this series, trilogy, I'm really not sure. I still haven't read the novella because I feel like it's going to tear my heartstrings out and I'm not sure if I'm ready for that. But tell me please if I need to read that before I read this one. Probably should. I just want to continue on with the book that got me back into reading. So I want to continue on with this series about a young girl who does not have powers in a world where people do have powers. If you don't, you are basically shunned or killed off rather, because they believe that the people that don't have powers will infect those with powers to not have powers. How many times can I say powers? Okay, stopping right now. Moving on into the romantasy genre. I do enjoy a good romantasy, and I of course had to put The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, which is the sequel to The Serpent and the Wings of Night. My god, how many words can you have in a title? This book I really wanted to get to when I saw it was coming out. I ended up picking it up the day it was released. I put it on my shelves and did not pick it up. This is about a young human girl who is adopted by the king vampire, and she has to think on her feet, do all these things, be basically more brutal than everyone else to survive, and she ends up getting put into this trials and games to win the favor of a god, and this just continues that story. Quicksilver by Kelly Hart. This is one of the biggest books, not the biggest book on this list, but one of the biggest books. Actually, maybe not. I don't know anything about this. All I know is it is a romantasy. It's on Kindle Unlimited, but when I saw a paperback edition, I knew I wanted to get it because it has a nice lovely floppy back here. Not that that's a reason to purchase a book, but you know what, why not? It is a very like gorgeous spine, so at least it'll look pretty on my shelves. And the fact that I know nothing about this, Sarah J Maas of course needs to be on this. I am so behind in her books and series. House of Sky and Breath, another one of those lengthy titles, but this is the second book in the Crescent City series. This is her urban fantasy. I believe this one, and maybe the third one, has like cross references into her other series. I definitely need to continue on with those as well, but I don't know, I really liked this one maybe just a little bit more, if I dare say so myself. I feel like that might be not everyone's same opinion, but that's okay, because that's why we love books, because there's one out there for everyone. This is quite the lengthy one, and I definitely am a little bit nervous to pick this up because I feel like it's gonna spoil some stuff for me, but you know what, who cares? Let's read what we want to read this year. All right, we have the adult fantasy, which I'm really excited. There are some really good titles on this one. The first one is one that when I read the premise of, I was like, maybe not, but then I saw some people reading it and it made me want to read it. So that is In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. TJ Klune is one of my favorite male romance authors, as well as he wrote The House in the Cerulean Sea, which was one of my absolute favorite books in 2020. So we have this one, which is a very different premise. I'm not too well versed on it. All I know is it's kind of like a Pinocchio type retelling in a way, where this creator invented these different machines, I believe, and they have to go on some sort of quest. If this book is going to be half as heartwarming and endearing as The House in the Cerulean Sea, I really want to get to this. Mark Lawrence wrote one of my favorite books of last year, and that was The Book That Wouldn't Burn. And this is The Book That Broke the World, which is the second book in the series. I did start this one. I don't know why I put it down. I feel like I got distracted by some other books. I have to continue reading on because the third book is coming out this year and I want to complete a series. So The Book That Wouldn't Burn was such a great book. If you love libraries, if you love mysteries, if you love just fantasy in general, it was just so good, and there's so many topics to discuss on it. One of my favorite books of the year. If you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out, but need to continue on. There will never be a year, well, I will never want to read a Brandon Sanderson book. This year I picked Trust of the Emerald Sea, and this is one of the what is the word I'm trying to think of? Not short stories, because it's not a short story. It's a novel that he wrote for his wife. There are 4 of them. This is one of them. This one intrigues me, I believe, the most, and I don't really know too much about it. It is set in the Cosmere universe, so interested to see how that plays out in this one right here. But I just love his books, and the attention to detail and the magic systems and everything, just chef's kiss every time. I debated putting this on here, but I need to, and that's going to be Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson. Okay, so this is the 3rd book in the Stormlight Archives series. I have read obviously book 1 and 2. That was a long time ago. I believe I started this one like maybe a little bit, but I obviously did not continue on if I did, and I didn't read very much of it. So I just, again, love Brandon Sanderson. This is probably one of my favorite series, and I've only read 2 of the books. The 5th one just came out this past year. I keep thinking it's 2024. Yeah, amazing. If you like epic fantasy, don't be afraid. Read this series. One book that made its way into a lot of people's favorite books of 2024, and that was The Will of the Many by James Islington. This is a Roman-inspired fantasy novel, which definitely has a hierarchy, like class systems and things like that. We have like a magic school type situation, and we have not heists, but going undercover and all that kind of stuff. So very interested to see what all the hype is about with this book. It is a long one, and mine did come damaged, which, you know, I should have returned it or exchanged it, but you know what, here we are, and it's gonna be okay. So The Will of the Many is one that I do want to pick up. It sounds so good. I read the first couple pages and it really started drawing me in. It's one of those situations where I was reading a couple pages from several different books and picked up something else instead. So want to finally read this book. Jade City by Fonda Lee is one of the books that I've had on my TBR, maybe not the longest, but quite a while. And it is a finished trilogy that I want to finally get to. I know a lot of people love this series. It's one of their favorites, and I want to experience that for myself. This is a high stakes fantasy that deals with different groups in the city that are fighting for control, kind of like mobs, I guess. I really want to give this a try. I know it is very Asian inspired, and that's what I need. I think that's what I need, and this one is going to be really good. I already know it, even though I haven't read it yet. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching my 25 in 2025. Technically, because it is bingo, there is a free space, so that is the 25th book. Shh, don't tell anyone. But if you finish this video, I really appreciate it. If you have any plans to read any of these books, or what is your most anticipated book to read this coming year, please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to chat about it, and I hope you have a wonderful day and happy reading. Bye.